Thank you, Chairman. Equality has to be the foundation stone of any republic. And people must have not just the freedom from oppression, they must have freedom to achieve everything that's within their ability to achieve. But unfortunately, barriers are often placed in front of groups and individuals, and they're unable to achieve their full potential. This bill, and I congratulate and commend my comrade, Deputy McLaughlin, this bill by Sinn Féin aims to recognise that there are many diverse groups and sections in Irish society that need enhanced protection from the state. And these groups suffer a disadvantage in outcome due to a multitude of reasons, and they have to be offered protection. The bill also seeks to amend current legislation on the issue and provide for equality proofing of government and public bodies' policy and budgets through impact assessments. This means that government policy must be tested to see what effect it could have on marginalised groups in Irish society. The bill aims to introduce 6 new additional anti-discriminatory categories to the existing 9, including trade union membership, socio-economic background, Irish language speakers, former political prisoners, those with criminal convictions, and rural dwellers. The bill would introduce equality impact assessment schemes and consultation on a statutory compulsory basis by all government departments and public bodies where they are introducing any new measure or policy or budget, and to measure what adverse impact this might have on any of the groups. It must also be an aim to improve the condition of marginalised groups in society through legislation, and this will give the state a clearer picture as to where we are failing to provide for those most in need of protection in Irish society. The equality screening would also be extended to the budget, which would allow those who draft it to see what possible impacts financial changes they make could have on those most in need of protection. Since the recession, every year both the former Fianna Fáil government and the current Fine Gael Labour government have failed some sections of the most marginalised in Irish society. Perhaps, Chairman, if equality screening of the budget had been introduced, this could have been avoided. A practical example of equality screening in relation to rural dwellers is the provision of broadband. Each person in this country should in this day and age have access to an adequate level of broadband. However, clearly this is not the case. If an equality impact assessment were introduced to the Department of Communications, Energy and Natural Resources, I am sure it would find that rural dwellers are at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to broadband provision, and appropriate steps could be taken. Inequality based on race, creed, colour, occupation, sexual orientation, level of ability or disability, or geography is and always will be wrong. I'm going to finish up, Colreavy, and think for a minute about what I hope is unintended impact of changes to regulations. And I have a petition here that's signed by 1,000 people, or almost 1,000 people, in a small rural area of North Leitrim. And these are their words. The loss of a school bus to Arvarney National School is yet another example of how the present government, through their policies, in this case through the school transport scheme operated by Bus Éireann, is actively attacking and leading to the demise of communities in rural Ireland. We, the undersigned, ask for the retention of all school bus services to Arvarney National School and to other rural schools. I hope it's an unintended consequence, but decisions made to change eligibility for school transport scheme has the effect of putting at risk the very sustainability of small rural schools. The people have spoken in this petition. That's the words of the people. That's why this legislation is needed, so that there are no further unintended consequences of changes in legislation, changes in policy, or budgetary impacts that are hitting the most vulnerable in our society.